So JizaiToys, which is a third-party company that has been around for a very long time, almost before third-party even was a thing, Jizai was around, and they've been notorious for showing all their crazy ideas and designs, a lot of stuff that actually never becomes figures. They've just shown like, hey, we can make a female frog transformer. Here's how we could do it. We can make a G1 masterpiece Galvatron. Here's how we would do it. We could do. They showed us how to make a G1 Cyclonus in a generation style long before we got that actual generation Cyclonus. And some of their creations have been turned into third-party product. More specifically, their wheelie is one good example, the third-party masterpiece wheelie. But here's one that they showed us that's kind of crazy and kind of out of left field here. So here's their JizaiToys Armored Christ. And it's wow. It's Jesus who's been crucified to the Christ to the cross and has written on top of the cross INRI, which I had to kind of do some research in. Apparently INRI is in Latin. Jesus is Jesus Nazareth Rex Ludurium, which is pretty much, it translates to Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews. Which was in John 19:20. I apologize. I'm not a super religious guy, so I don't know any of this stuff.
So basically, it was the notice that Pontius Pilate nailed over on the top of the cross.
Yes.
So he's like, well, here lies Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews.
So
that kind of rubbing it in his face.
So he's on the cross, crucified here, and then it transforms into like this battle armor for him. Which is, and it's
so basically the cross wraps around Jesus's head, his arms, his body, his legs, and like it just inverts itself onto him, and it's armor.
And it's interesting because then the INRI that was over his head, it kind of becomes like the crotch piece and everything, and then you have like these two hidden shields with the Jesus cross, well, not the Jesus cross,
with
but
the cross, with
the
the crucifix,
and they go on his shoulders, and he gets a very, I don't know, this very I don't want to say Thor, but it's like it's the wings of Mercury almost. Like he has these like wings going on the sides of his head. It's like what Captain America had and Thor.
Oh, which is the wings of Hermes.
Hermes, thank you. Why did I say Mercury? The wings of Hermes, which also Jay Garrett from Flash had, the very first Flash. Like it's I don't know why they chose that aesthetic. I don't know what it's. Again, anyone who really knows their stuff, please chime in. Why Jesus has this, and he has crosses on his arms too, which could be interpreted as like weapons, I guess. He doesn't seem to have any accessories. It's just pretty much to show some crazy stuff. But I mean, it's not the first time I've seen crazy Jesus action figures in the past, so this is just, it's something interesting. I'm not saying this is going to be a product. It's just them just showing, hey, here's a wacky thing we did in Photoshop 3D or whatever, or Unity or one of the 3D programs.
Yeah, I mean, we could totally do this. And do you want this?
Do you want this? And then if it does well, do you want more? Do you want like I don't know, Moses and he turns into a basket? Do you want Noah and he turns into the ark? Do you want? I can't even...
Like I'm on their site right now, and they even have like April O'Neil is the Channel 6 van.
Oh, really? I didn't see.
Yeah.
I didn't see this. Oh, good lord.
I'll send you the link, but it's pretty fascinating. All the stuff that they've messed around with and everything.
Well, that's just that they're.
It's. I think I remember before you were saying like I wish third party would just do weird stuff.
Well, yeah,
and I think these guys are definitely fitting that bill.
The only thing that's unfortunate with them is they just play with a lot of ideas. That's like they've existed long before third parties existed, and they're going to probably exist long after third parties existed. But what they do is they just have this like absolute fascination with going like, here's a bunch of ideas, we're just going to show you it in CG, and then make you really depressed that this isn't real, And they've been doing that for years and years. And man, like, yeah, okay, even this, we got to talk about this April April O'Neil one looks great too.
Like, let me look them up because I want to see what this this frog thing you're looking at. And I clicked on the image and it just sent me to the site. And I was like, oh,
yeah, they got tons of stuff, and it's just that's part of their MO. And again, if you go on their website, I guess I'll link it in the description. Like you'll see like their wheelie, their Cyclonus, all the stuff that they've physically made in the past, and then in some shape or form has come out in some kind of third-party nature. They never really make stuff under their own name as Jizai. Jizai is just kind of like they're the idea tank, and then people run with it. So if anyone's listening, someone make that April O'Neil happen, because that reminds me a lot of the old Ninja Turtle transforming vehicles.
Yeah, the mutants.
And they did one of a Splinter that turned into the van. So this is really great. It would have the April O'Neil that turns into the Channel 6 news van. Like that is, and even like the little news camera that's an accessory on the top, and then it becomes a weapon in her hand.
And her backpack has the tape reels.
It's amazing. We come in here to talk about Jesus. Now we're on April, but this is great stuff.
But still transforming.
Yeah, it's still transforming. This is great stuff. I'm really excited. I mean, people throw in your ideas here, like who would you want to see? Do you want to see, like, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of other ones. Like I'm just imagining, like, who was the Egyptian pharaoh when Moses was there? Do you remember which
Ramses?
Was it Ramses? Like, I'm just imagining
Ramses. Well, I mean, yeah, that's his brother, Ramses.
Ramses, like transforming Pyramidas style into a pyramid or a sphinx. Like there's so many crazy stuff. I mean, that's the thing when it comes to Transformers, is that we have all of this brand that has its own built-in characters, and then once in a while it goes outside of that brand and gives us Marvel Transformers, Star Wars Transformers, even Hello Kitty Transformers at one point. And same thing with the Disney label. Yeah, the Disney label stuff. So it's, now we even have the Street Fighter ones coming soon. So it's really interesting to see stuff like this that's, iconic vehicles, let's say from Ninja Turtles, and doing something. Although Ninja Turtles did a whole line of that, but still it's pretty cool to see it from like a third party point. And then we have even famous biblical and religious characters. Like it's nuts. It's absolutely bananas. But the fact that it exists, you might have your reserves about it as a religious person, but I can't take away creativity. You know what I mean? The ability to do this kind of stuff is pretty nuts. But otherwise, great stuff. That April O'Neil, I want to see more of that. I'm glad you brought that up.
You're done by the April O'Neil.
I think when I'm going to post this episode, I'm going to start trying to champion that and try to get it to happen. So.